Yeah, holy! What's good, everybody? It's your boy Roman Puss here with a little more fun facts about Genshin Impact. Kind of fun facts, guys, whatever you want to call it. Today, I want to go over the artifacts and where you can get them, where you can find them, how to spend your resin most efficiently as a beginner and as a newbie, and where to go, what to focus on as you accumulate characters, as you accumulate artifacts with stats. You want to know what you want to go for, and you want to know what to start with. There's certain artifacts that are beneficial to many characters and some that are completely useless and not relevant to anyone. So without waiting, let's just dive in and let's get on to it. But first, be sure to check me out on Twitch. I do stream a couple days a week. If you want to check me down, the link is down in the description. If you don't, that's fine too, whatever you're into. Okay, you guys, be sure to focus. Side note, before we get started, I want to make sure you guys do take care of your weekly bosses. Things like Gladiators and Wanderer's Troop are very important, and they're only accumulated through doing your weekly bosses. So make sure you do all of your weekly bosses each week. You will need gladiators on a lot of your units that you have, so take note of that. That is obviously first priority, and then you can start grinding your artifact dungeons with the rest of your resin to the rest of the week once you finish weekly bosses. Weekly bosses will take a lot of resin actually, but it's important that gladiators is fantastic on so many units. Okay, so before we get started, I want to do some notables. Now, obviously, we've got the new Opulent and the Heart of Depth, or not the Opulent and the Ocean Hued artifacts. The Opulent is very good on the geocharacters that we have coming up. It's very good on L.O.L. It's going to be very good on Gordo, and it's going to be great on Ito as well. So those are going to be the go-to artifacts for them. So that's 3 characters right off the bat. So this artifact set is already pretty worth grinding. And you have the Ocean Hued, which is fantastic on pretty much any healer, most healers, not any healer, but items like Kokomi, Chi-Chi, Barbara, those are like your top 3 that you're going to be using that set on. You generally go 4-piece sets for all of them, so it kind of works out well, and you will probably need to grind that out a lot. So this one might be a key taker. It might actually be number 5 or 4 even. I kind of struggled with the last 2. So I'm going to start from bottom, go up to top. Honestly, this new artifact set, I think I might actually rank that number 4, honestly, potentially, with the amount of characters. But let's dive in. So we'll start with number 5, actually. Number 5 is located at the peak of Vindanir, I don't know, I believe I'm saying this wrong, but it holds the Blizzard Strayer and Heart of Depth. Now this one has items, obviously, for your cryo units and your hydro units, so it's very good on units like Ayaka, Ganyu, Kaya, Aloy, Chongyun. This Blizzard Strayer artifact set is fantastic. Some of them go 4-piece set, some of them go 2-piece set. Ganyu kind of depends on how you build her. You can build her with other things as well. It depends on what you're going for, because you could potentially go noblesse on her, so that is an option. But that's great on your cryo units, so fantastic, excellent. Your hydro units, you have people like Child and Jingshu are pretty much the only people who used to use it. I did use it on Kokomi with Maidens prior to Ocean Hued coming out, but this is what I would kind of switch off of that. So pretty much only Child and Jingshu, so you do have use for depth, but it's generally not the greatest. Child generally does 4-piece Heart of Depth, so if you're a big Child fan, we had 3 reruns of him, or 2 reruns already, and so 3 banners on him. Most people do have Child, so that's kind of an important one. I'm actually going to rank that one at number 5. Number 4, I will probably actually switch to Opulent. I did have Crimson Witch there. I did have Crimson Witch as 5. I kind of shifted them a little bit. So Crimson Witch is generally good on most Pyro units. So people like Hu Tao, Diluc, Yanfei, Klee. Kind of mixed up here, but so Pyro, Crimson Witch, if you want to focus on that for if you have Pyro units, depends on what units you like to pull for and which ones you like to play. So if you have Pyro units, Crimson Witch is obviously going to be a go-to. So look at kind of the character roster and see who you're going to want to play. If you're going to want Pyros, then go for that. If you're not really planning on using healers or Geo, then you don't really need to grind that out. So a lot of these are based off what you have and what you need. So keep that in mind when you're going through this. So number 5 was Blizzard and Heart of Death. Number 4 is Opulent and Ocean Hued. Now, number 3 is actually a fantastic thing to grind out, a fantastic domain. You have Valley of Remembrance. It's located at the Valley of Remembrance. It has Veritas and Venereer. I think I'm saying that terribly wrong, so sorry, don't hate me. And Maiden Beloved. Now, Veridescent is fantastic on any Anemo unit you can think of. You have Zhao, you have Venti, you have Sayu, you have Sucrose, that's it. Jeez, my goodness. You have all the Anemo units pretty much use it, and I think basically all of them use a 4 set. So, and Kazuha too. I'm actually like blown away with how insane Veridescent is. So I luckily grinded out a bunch when I was grinding for Zhao. So if you can just get enough pieces, you're going to want to use them a lot. Most of them just grind it out because you're going to need Elemental Mastery, you're going to need attack percent, you're going to need, if you can get a Nemo damage bonus, that would be fantastic as well. But Anemo, definitely you're going to want that. I rank that at number 3. This honestly could be a contender for number 2, but it's really only if you want Anemo units and you want to use them. So that's up to you. Depends on what teams you want to run. Depends on who you have going and what characters you actually own yourself. Maiden Beloved, sadly, it was good on Chi-Chi. It was your go-to for Chi-Chi, Barbara, Kokomi, but we have Ocean Hued that kind of took over for them. So Maiden's kind of useless and irrelevant now. It's not really going to be used on anyone so much besides if you want to use it, if you want to use it as a temporary placeholders on those 3 units, then that would work as well. You could use it for any of your healers. But since Ocean Hued exists now, if you ever get the chance to start grinding that out, you have that as well. Okay, number 2, located at Momiji Dyed Court, consists of, this is in Inazuma, consists of the Emblem of Severed Fate and Shiminawa's Reminiscence. Yeah, Reminiscence. It's fantastic for characters like Raiden Shogun, Toma, Kaya, Xiangling. You're going to want that on her as well. It gives her the energy recharge. They all actually kind of really need the energy recharge. It helps them stack. Raiden Shogun is actually a fantastic unit. If you did get her, we probably won't get a rerun for quite some time, but she was fantastic. I think she excels on so many teams. She's one of my favorites, and I'm so glad I pulled on her and I almost skipped her. But it's excellent. It's going to be all around great on a lot of units, and you can actually use the 2-piece set on many people who actually have slow charging. So it's fantastic for all of that. And if you want to use Shiminawa's, definitely 4-piece on Yoimiya. You can run an optional 4-piece on Yanfei. She has other options. She probably wants to go Crimson Witch instead, or Wanderers, one of those other 2. But I think Crimson Witch might be better on Yanfei. And potentially Kaching too. I know a lot of people probably run a different build on Kaching, but you can definitely run Shiminawa's on her as well. It's up to you. It definitely does work. It's really what, again, as I said, what characters you have, who you want to play, and what you want to build. But Emblem definitely is what I'm grinding out and hard focusing on, besides the Geo stuff, because I am ready to pull for Ito, and I'm going to need those Geo artifacts. Okay, last but not least, and the big one, actually this one's number 1 by far, so if you're going to start focusing on something, this is definitely the way to go, because it's useful on so many characters. It's located at the Clear Pool in the Mountain Cavern. It consists of Noblesse Oblige and Bloodstained Chivalry. Sadly, Bloodstained Chivalry is kind of useless, but it gives you physical damage, and it's physical damage, and it's basically only used on one character, and that is Jin Yan. And it's alright. It's probably wouldn't use it on really anyone else. So Bloodstained really doesn't have a use besides Jin Yan. Jin Yan's also bad. Would not recommend. But Noblesse. Let's get to Noblesse. For those of you that don't know Noblesse, it gives you Elemental Burst, increases it by 20%, and when you use your Elemental Burst, it increases your party's attack by 20% for 12 seconds. It's actually kind of insane. So many supportive units actually end up using this, and as well as like a couple of DPS units do. So you have people like, even people like Ganyu actually do end up using it, but it's fantastic for people like Bennett. It's the number 1 like user. Everyone has Bennett on their team. You're going to want Bennett on your team, and if you don't have him, you want to work on getting him ASAP. He is on the Albedo EULA banner, so now's your chance to get him before they expire soon, before this video leaves. Jingshu, fantastic, gives the water swords, increases attack percent. It's just going to make you do fat loads of damage. That's what you need. Zhongli, it's amazing because it gives him attack percent. It's going to be bursting his big giant meatball that he goes and goes splurge and rains down upon people. The damage numbers are highly affected by this. You have Sarah. Sarah, I actually haven't dove too much into, but I've seen her burst like annihilate the new wolf boss that we have. I can't remember his name, but it's like literally one-shot that kid. It was with food, but it was still disgusting and gnarly. Then you have Diana. Diana like runs a 4-piece. You have Ganyu potentially runs a 4-piece. Depending on how you build Ganyu, it's up to you. If you want to run Blizzard, you can do that too. And then you have Xiangling, probably runs like a 2-piece set of Noblesse along with the Emblem. So Xiangling, if you want to run her, she's actually really, really good on many, many teams. So you could run 2 Emblem, 2 Noblesse. Fantastic on her. You can run it on Jin Yan. Jin Yan does run the 2-piece of Noblesse and Bloodstain. So if you do love Jin Yan and you are one of the rare people who that's your favorite character, just do this artifact dungeon, artifact domain. Jeez, I don't know why I keep calling it a dungeon. You can run that. It will give you 2-piece Noblesse, 2-piece Bloodstained. That's your build. You're golden. And then lastly, if you really want to run it, you could run it for the 4-piece on Amber as well. It's up to you, whatever you choose to do. Alright you guys, that is my overall top artifact sets. This is one of the things that you're going to want to focus on. Now, keep in mind, there are items like gladiators. Geez, you have gladiators and Wanderer's Truth that you get from the weekly bosses. Obviously, those are high priority. Those are what you're going to want to focus on first. You always want to grind out your weekly bosses so you can get those artifact sets, because those are used on a lot of units as well. So mainly gladiators, that's your number one that you really want to grind out, because that's on so many characters. So make sure you do your weekly bosses, focus on those. Then you can just get to like grinding your artifact sets. Those can come secondary, and you want to choose whichever unit you have. Definitely one of those top 5 I highly recommend, so it's up to you. And that's what I have for my recommendations. So that's going to be how you can keep most efficiency with your resin usage. Obviously, if you need Mora or purple books, then you can always grind out the ley lines. That works for you as well. But that is all I have for you guys. I hope this video helped. Let me know what you guys think down below. And that's all I have for you guys. I'm your boy Roman Puss, and I'm going to be taking off. Yeah, holy! Peace, beautiful people.